Hello, my name is Victor. I'm a student at the International School of Lausanne and I have sufficient amount of experience when running marathons. This is why in this video I will be explaining in detail the connection between nutrition and young marathoners and only marathoners as sprinters have a completely different perspective on nutrition.
So, how can we define a marathoner's nutrition? We may know that the term nutrition is defined as the process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth. However, sport nutrition is defined explicitly as the diet to improve anyone's athletic performance. As young marathoners, our diet is individual and different macronutrient ratios may work better for other marathoners. Additionally, young marathoners should take into account the measured calories consumed each day to sustain their training program. However, I will later be discussing the number of calories that should be consumed. Why might a runner rely on protein? As we move on to the first macronutrient, protein, the definition is simple. Protein is the building blocks of muscles. In general, it helps build and repair muscles. On the other hand, protein can be used as an energy source, resulting in it being the most important aspect of protein for a young marathoner. The body requires a process that fuels the energy and carries oxygen throughout the body in the blood. Therefore, protein is a principal part of this process. Great, great sources of protein include eggs, nuts, and soy products. How can a marathoner build a specific body shape? Well, the best way to get a runner's body is to run. Guys, you must run. Train a lot, every single week. Take into consideration at least a rest day each week, enabling you to recover as it also concedes the opportunity to be more active the next training session. For young marathon runners, some high rep training to improve endurance and muscle tone is strongly needed. A pro marathon runner's body has a very low body fat percentage. Marathon runners are lean and light due to their high or low intensity training, which improves their endurance. Marathon runners consume a vast amount of calories but burn up all the calories they consume, resulting in them maintaining their lean and light body type. The concept of being skinny benefits marathon runners to have less weight to carry around a marathon. A runner versus a marathoner. Well, when it comes to a comparison between a regular runner or sprinter and a marathoner, there's a major difference, and I'll explain why. The sprinter might be heavily muscle built and have a low amount of body fat, whilst the marathoner has also a low amount of body fat, which with slow twitch muscle fibers. In some way, they practice different sports, as a sprinter tends to train explosive strength and the marathoner focuses on endurance. The way they train their muscle fibers is important to know. There's fast twitch and slow twitch, as mentioned earlier. A sprinter will primarily train their fast twitch fibers as they have immediate reactions and are strong and fast fibers. However, they don't have very good fatigue resistance. On the other hand, a marathon runner trains their slow twitch fibers even if they're not as quick and reactive. They can work for a vast amount of time. Whilst training, the fibers will remain slim and wide. How may a runner balance the carbs? Well, the definition of carbs is carbohydrates provides an energy to support bodily functions for runners. As we look at carbohydrates, for young marathoners, carbohydrates are probably the most beneficial macronutrients of all. It's crucial for young marathoners to include carbohydrates to balance their diet. They are broken down into simple sugars, which are absorbed into the bloodstream, resulting in a great source of energy. Carbs help maximize the body's ability to use glycogen, a form of glucose stored in the liver to regulate the blood glucose concentration, to fuel high or low intensity exercises. If we specifically look at the foods rich in carbs a week or a few days before the marathon, A carbohydrate loading diet, including mainly complex carbs, would be seriously considered. Foods such as wheat bread, oatmeal, and beans are great foods rich in complex carbs. When it comes to 3 to 1 hour before the marathon, simple carbohydrates are easy to digest, which is why young marathon runners can contribute by including them in their diet. Foods such as milk, honey, and a banana are a fundamental part of this carbohydrate loading diet. Should young marathoners focus on calories? Well, firstly, the body uses two main fuels, carbohydrates and fats. Fat is the primary fuel for less intense exercise, while the carbohydrates are the primary fuel for intense exercise. So, why are calories important? Well, consuming calories is ideal to convert into energy the body needs to run. If not consuming an adequate amount of calories, the levels of performance will go down, and health complications can occur, such as anemia, bone loss, and poor dental health. It is crucial for young marathon runners to burn the same amount of calories consumed as the body does store the excess of calories as body fat, and most of it should come from carbohydrates as well. Why are fats beneficial? Talking about fats, undoubtedly, fats reassure many functions in the body, such as growth, production, and absorption of certain vitamins, and are an essential source of energy for low intensity activity, as mentioned before. For young marathoners, it is also important to understand that a high fat meal before low to moderate intensity training is essential, as fats take a larger time to break down rather than carbs. Which type of fat should be considered? Well, monounsaturated fat and polyunsaturated are types of fats, both from unsaturated fats, that should be considered. They are both healthy fats and are recommended for young marathoners before performing an exercise. Monounsaturated fats are mainly found in high concentrations in olive, peanut, and canola oils. On the other hand, polyunsaturated fats include sunflower oil and corn. If we look at highly recommended diets and highly unrecommended diets, well, we have already looked at the foods which are rich in the three main macronutrients. Therefore, it is important to have a well balanced diet. If we mainly focus on highly unrecommended diets, on the other hand, any form of ketogenic diet will decrease performance and endurance, especially for young marathoners, which will slow you down. So make sure for young marathoners, especially you guys, that you avoid this type of diet. It is a low carb, high fat diet, and foods such as low carb vegetables, cheese, avocado, and any plant based saturated fats are related to the ketogenic diet. Lastly, any helpful tips that I just want to mention is that the recommended aim for macronutrients to consume is 45% to 65% carbs, 10 to 35% protein, and 20 to 35% fats, and most importantly, unsaturated fats. A mistake young marathoners do is that they focus too much on what's important to them, meaning that, as mentioned earlier, meals shouldn't be completely unbalanced as they can cause certain side effects. You should take vitamin B as they are responsible for helping your body convert food into the energy.
I hope this video helped you guys, especially young marathoners, to understand the nutritional view rather than the physical activity. There's a feedback link below, and if you guys can kindly take a few minutes to answer a few questions about the video, that would be greatly appreciated.